and welcome. You are listening to At Home with Ifenu. Here, we'll talk about helping women know and understand their worth, find fulfillment in who they are, and in what they do. Every other week, we'll talk about your identity as a woman, discovering your unique purpose, intentionally raising the next generation, and your influence in homemaking. I am your host, Ifoma Nneka Omoni. Hello. Welcome to another exciting time on At Home with Ifeno. So what are you up to today? Is it morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world? You know, the world is now very small within our reach. It's now global, and any part of the world can connect to any part of the world. So I welcome you to another interesting, informative, inspiring, and exciting time at Home with Ifeno today. You know, I want us to relax. That is why I always say, feel at home, even if you are not in your physical home. I want you to relax, get your tea, coffee, water. If you are driving, please use your hands free as you listen to us, because we want your safety, we want your comfort, and we want you to be at ease. So on our show today, I have an interesting personality. She is so many parts. She's a marriage counselor, family advocate. She's in the food industry. She is a host to some TV programs. She does so much, and you know what? We're excited to have her because she's always very, very occupied. Having her on this show was, I don't know if I had to use Visa or I had to pay dollars. I really don't know what I had to do, but I'm really, really excited. God answered my prayer for having her on this show. So I'd like us to welcome Mrs. Itoro E.Bright to At Home with Ifeno today. You're welcome, Itoro. Glad to have you.
Thank you so very much. It's good to be here. And thanks for your patience. You know, you were really patient all through trying to get me. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Well done.
Thank you. Itoro is not just a guest to me. She's actually my friend. I've known her for a while, even though for some time we've not been in the same space. But I'm glad that despite the distance, we are not so far apart. She could still have time to listen and accept our invitation. So I'd like her to introduce herself, because I told you she has so many parts of her. I know she has a background in banking and finance, but she's actually not working in a bank as of today. So Itoro, please, what are the important things you would like our listeners to remember about you when they hear your name? Who is Itoro?
Okay, well, I would say that Itoro is synonymous to Ibom soups. So wow. I have, some people who no longer call me Itoro, they now call me Ibom Soups, and it's fine. It's fine, actually. So Itoro is the CEO of Ibom Soups, a business I've been running for about 14 to 15 years in all, actually, if I want to count the years when I started all alone before I started employing. But again, beyond that, Itoro is a wife, Itoro is a mother. I love women, and I'm really, really interested about health, welfare, and fulfillment, that we get as women. I think that a woman carries so much, and a woman needs to totally be happy, and a woman deserves all that she can get, actually. And so that's why anytime you see me, I'm advocating for women, I'm rooting for women and all. So that's about me. I am a lover of God. I'm an ordained pastor, and I'm a businesswoman. I love making money. Yes, I love making money.
So we need the money.
Yes, and I think for me, one of the most important things in life is to be kind to people. Be kind to people because sometimes that's the least we can offer, and it's something that will not even cost us much. So I like to pass that message across all the time. Be kind to yourself first, and then be kind to people around you. Yeah, thank you.
Wow. So what do you do to relax? Do you have anything you do to ease the stress? Or because I remember one thing you just said, that women carry a lot. So yes. How do you take off that burden or that heavy thing from from you so that you don't break?
Okay, so what do I do to relax? For me, I'm a planner. I like to work with timetables, So for me, if you ask me what I'll be doing this time on Monday, God's sparing our lives, I already know what I'll be doing this Sunday, what I'll be doing next month. So most times I have the dates already, booked, and I have what would go on into that date. So that's also how I plan rest. So I actually plan my rest. And when I'm resting, because of the program I run on TV, my phone rings 24/7. So when I'm resting, actually, I don't allow anything to interrupt my rest.
Wow.
So how do I relax? See movies.
Okay.
Sometimes just being indoors all alone, not going anywhere, not doing anything, just being on my own. I'm not even reading any business book. I'm just probably listening to a worship song, or I'm just listening to someone I'm listening to an audio book, or I'm just even sleeping. One thing people don't know about me, because I work so very hard, so they really believe this about me, is that I love to sleep. I love to sleep. If I have the time, I can sleep 2 whole days, actually. I can sleep, wake up, take my bath, eat, sleep again, wake up, take my bath, eat, sleep again, and nothing is wrong with me. But so because I love to sleep, whenever I have the time, I try to have quality sleep. I don't let anything stand in the way. So sleep for me is a way of relaxing. Seeing movies is a way of relaxing.
Okay.
And of course, just being alone and not, being disturbed is also a way of relaxing, actually.
I'm learning that too, that nothing, shut your phone down. You are not going to save the world. In order to still be alive and well, you need your me time, you need your alone time. Thank you, Itoro, for that. So, like I said, you have a background in banking and finance, but I know you're not working in the bank as of today. Could you just share a little of the transition? How did you get into doing Ibom soups?
Okay, thank you so much. The business Ibom soups, or the vision, because I tell people it's beyond a food business, is actually a movement. This movement started when I was about 17. Yeah, about that. Yes. When I was about 17, I got that vision to do something. About 17, but by 19, it became even clearer that was what God would have me do, because when they start, and then Reverend Sam kept talking about, Reverend Sam Adeyemi, kept talking about finding a problem you can solve. It was this particular season where he was talking about problems being opportunities, and that we all were created to solve a particular problem. And I started asking myself a lot of questions. What problem am I created to solve? What problem do I think I can solve from my space? And then I saw something happened. I was in the market for about 14 years of my life. I was in an open market selling. And I saw that now, at that time, it wasn't 14 years yet, but I'd spent many years in the market. At the time I was 19, I'd seen that I'd spent about 8 years in the market as at then. And I'd seen that so many, things happen underground. People don't even know. So people go to buy things, and whatever they are buying is being compromised, and they're not even aware, because they got there. They are not attentive. They don't have the time. Somebody's buying from the car and they say, "Madam, give me that vegetable, give me that." And the person who walked down to the market will supervise and inspect what he or she is buying. But it's not the same with the person who's driving, struggling with where to park, task force, and the rest. And it became a concern. Why are they paying more and getting less? And I was always bothered. As a matter of fact, those days I used to talk to the market women. You hear me telling them, "Man, don't do that now. You are a Christian, I'll try to say, "Shut up, my friend, come on, shut up. What's your business?" All of that. And then I saw that was a burden in my heart. And I started asking myself what I could do about it. So that was where the vision started, actually, even though I didn't know how to put it together. So along the line, of course, I went back to continue my education, finished, of course, like you said, I studied banking and finance. I had a 2-1 in banking and finance. I was almost going to actually become a lecturer. But of course, marriage brought me back to Lagos. And I said, you know what? Well, let me just, and then my husband, again, is someone who is good at discovering your talent, discovering your potentials and inner abilities. So he was quick to know that about me and continue to push me in that line. So while in school, I'd done a lot of training, learning, about food ingredients, natural meals, how they work and all of that. Those 4 years, the villages allowed me to learn that. So coming back to Lagos, I had my NYSC, did my NYSC in Lagos. Of course, I was already married. And then I had to work at 9 Mobile, where it is Salat, now 9 Mobile. And then from 9 Mobile, I switched on to working at MTN for about 3 years, where I learned a lot and I was sent for several trainings. The organization trained me well, prepared me for what I'm doing today. And so I keep saying it, I can't write my story without mentioning the years I spent at MTN. All of those trainings have come handy. So while at MTN, I was attending a business school, finished the business school. And then after a while, I felt it was time to step out fully into my business. Remember, at this time, I was already running my business. As a matter of fact, I switched from 9 Mobile to MTN because 9 Mobile was now taking even my Saturdays. And there were times my Sunday was even taken. Sunday afternoon was taken. So I continued to disappoint my customers a lot. I can't meet up with the orders I've already collected. And it was bothering me. So I had to look for a job that would probably pay me less and give me more time. And that was how I got into MTN. Interestingly, it was a matter of 6 months. I got back into earning what I was earning at 9 Mobile and even more, And after some years at MTN, I felt I'd learned enough. I also felt I'd built enough customer base. At this time, I feel that I can step out completely into my business. And that was what happened. I went out completely to run Ibom. And that's about 8 years now from the time I left MTN, I guess.
What a journey. What a journey. And there are some points you've mentioned. Your journey has taught us that you can have a vision today. Doesn't mean that you will start that vision immediately. So there were preparatory processes you went through before Ibom Soup really took the stage it is on now.
Yes.
So indirectly, you're trying to tell us that don't just run out of what you are doing now because of that bigger vision. Sit down, articulate it, plan about it, look at how it is, and when you think it is the right time, before you now step out. Thank you for sharing that interesting part of your journey. Now, today, our focus is on proper home nutrition, a preventive measure against sickness and diseases. Proper home nutrition. I know you have a lot of experience in the food industry beyond the business. I thank you for mentioning that it's not just about the business, it's a movement. And I believe that movement has to do with people's health, what we eat in connection with our well-being, in connection with our productivity. So what will you tell our listeners? What is the connection in having proper home nutrition to living? Not that we know that we are not in a perfect world. We will definitely once in a while fall sick, but how do we use what we eat as a preventive measure against frequency in falling sick and suffering diseases?
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share a story. My second son is almost 13 now. My second son, when he was young, a lot younger, more like when he was a toddler, used to fall sick a lot. As a matter of fact, there was a time we were always at the hospital. Almost like before you know it today, we're wondering because both of us are AA. So how come this boy is always falling sick? As a matter of fact, we had to go check again, even though his birth details carried his genotype. We had to go look at it again and then did another check because he was really falling sick. And then we saw this boy is AA. Why is he falling sick like this? And we began to pray, began to trust God and all. But what I want to bring out of the story is that it got to a time, my husband came back one day. As at that time, we also as a family hadn't taken our health seriously, so to speak. My husband came back one day, I don't know where he went to. He came back one day and said, from today, everybody in this house must wash your hands. Anytime you step out, anytime you come in, and blah, 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 you must wash your hands and all of those. And when he started, I was like, where did this one go to? What did they tell him today that he's... I didn't say a word. But in my usual way, I said, okay, we are not going to lose anything from doing what is right. So there's no problem. So I obeyed, and then I yielded to that instruction. We created means for everybody to continue to wash their hands, daily and all the time as you step out. In fact, before you touch anything in my house, have you washed your hands? Have you washed? It has always, I'm not talking now. People started doing it when COVID came. But in my household, we've done it at least 5 years before COVID, actually. Yes. Minimum of 5 years before COVID. Even my employees, it got to a point, one of my staff, she can be very funny. One day she looked at her hands and said, since I started working with these people, my hand has changed to white. Didn't even know that I was hearing her. She was talking to other employees. And they said, she said, I will wash my hands, in fact, in my house, my mom is always complaining that I finish the soap in the house, that I'm always washing my hands. And I was like, good, we are teaching people the right culture. So for us, washing of hands didn't come with COVID. COVID exposed us. COVID opened our eyes, revealed the kind of danger that we are operating in every day of our lives, actually. So imagine if they said washing of hands helped us to stay away from COVID to an extent. You can imagine how many other diseases we have contacted over the years from not washing our hands. So I'm saying we started that culture in my home, and in a matter of months, we just realized, how come we've not been visiting the hospital? What happened? Anyway, up until today, that boy have never had cause to go to the hospital on any health-related challenge and all of that, except for checkup or for any, of course, he's an explorer, so there was a time he had an injury and we had to take him for treatment. But aside from that, he's never had any health and he had to go to the hospital. That's how that simple decision changed our lives as a family. So I'm saying that you cannot separate nutrition from being alive, because you are what you eat. Now, what you eat is not just, please, I need everybody to listen to this. What you eat is not just what you put in your mouth. What you hear is what you are eating. What you see is what you are eating. What you perceive, you inhale with your nostrils is what you're eating. What touches your skin is what you're eating. Yes.
Wow.
Because all of these come together to form the health that you have. Even in my book, it's written there, the 5 sense organs. You actually eat with all your 5 sense organs. When you see things that are frightening, you become afraid. Your heart begins to beat very fast. That's already inducing stress in your body. That's really affecting you. What you hear something negative, you lose sleep. That's already affecting your health, because if you do not sleep well, you are not healthy. So you are within an environment where you continue to inhale the wrong things because you are exposed to the wrong environment. Inhale smoke, dust, all of those things. It triggers something in your body. So you are actually eating with your nose. So I think the first place to start from is to understand that we eat with all our 5 sense organs, not just the mouth. Yes. And then we'll go a step further to now focus on the one that we all know, which is the mouth. So why I mentioned these other ones is so that we understand that if we want to have proper nutrition, we have to take care of all these other organs too. So you need to look at what kind of environment do I find myself? What am I rubbing on my skin? Yes, what kind of cream am I rubbing on my skin? Because you have pores. You are taking in things through your skin. Your skin has an input. Your nostrils have inputs. Your eyes have inputs. So what am I taking in? And then now we go to the mouth. What am I even eating? Sometimes you see some people say, oh, I have worked on my food portion and now it's very small portion. I don't eat a lot and this, that, because I'm trying to watch with. Interesting. But beyond the quantity of food you are eating, what is the quality of food you are eating? So I usually say this. When you want to eat something, there are some things you must consider. So when you go next time to buy something over the shelf, things to look out for. First, of course, you're looking for a type of food. Let's take an average woman, for example, now. An average woman goes to the supermarket, to the mall, maybe on a Saturday. What will she be buying? Maybe eventually she will get into the supermarket and then begin to buy things for the groceries and then begin to buy provisions and all for the household and everything. But as she's buying, is she checking the nutritional value of what she's buying? So you need to also ask yourself, I say, family, what do we consume most? Some families, bread is the order of the day. Some families, rice is the order of the day. Some families, fruit is the order of the day. Some families, ice cream is the order of the day. It's something you can't go a day without consuming. So what's the frequency of consumption? What is the quantity we consume? And what time do we consume it? At what time of the day do we consume this? Why do we consume it? The why now can be because it's easy. Some families eat noodles a lot. They've heard that it's unhealthy. But because it's about the quickest thing to cook, so they go for it. So, but if you understand the why, you begin to find out how to solve that problem. If I go for noodles because I'm trying to save time, are there things I can prepare? And then when I use the word prepare, I'm using it with full level of understanding. Are there things I can prepare ahead of time, so that when I come back, I just put XYZ in the pot and food is ready, just like I would have done with noodles. So at the end of the day, I don't go about eating what is not right. What is the nutritional value of this thing I'm putting in my mouth? So we must look at the nutritional value versus the time of consumption. Because what is healthy for you to eat in the morning may not be healthy for you to eat at night. So it goes to say that it's not only nutritionists who pay attention to what we eat, but everybody, actually. So your health is directly related to what you eat. And what you eat is not just what you put in your mouth. You eat with all your 5 sense organs.
Wow. You're already lecturing now. Itoro.
Okay, well, that's true.
You're already lecturing.
That, yeah.
Yes. One thing I've understood with God is that he allows us to, or he brings us to a place where that desire or that purpose he has put in our heart might not really come out the way we think it should come out. So you see that you said you really wanted to lecture, but maybe God wanted you to lecture in another way and in another. So you're already lecturing us, because I'm really gaining a lot, as in that I eat with all my senses, and even the way you said, okay, frequency of what do we eat regularly in the house, and then the time. So you're already lecturing us. Thank you very much. I know that you got into the food industry, not just for profit. I know that. So how have you helped women? Because I know you are passionate about women, and from your profile, I saw that you've really been to different conferences, to educate, to lecture, to empower people with knowledge. How have you been able to help women and homes to serve nutritious meals? Why am I asking this question? In our world of today, we have a lot of us mothers who might not really be directly involved with what goes on at home. So you see that women say, I don't have time, I'm occupied, I need to be at different meetings. So we employ cooks or whatever, which is not wrong in any way. But how do mothers ensure that these proper nutritious meals are served, even if they are not directly involved? How have you been able to help such women?
Okay, so well, I will start by saying that education is key, information is key, which is what we're doing right now. So, and then many people have complained a lot about meals being boring. When you say I should eat healthy, the meal is usually boring. I'm not able to enjoy. I don't even know the options that are available, how many recipes are out there and all. So in the course of trying to communicate these things, I have come to see the need to write a book. So I wrote a book many years ago. And the interesting thing about books is that it can travel to places you've not been to. My book has gotten to countries I haven't been to, actually.
Wow.
Yes. My book has gone to countries. Sometimes people will buy 10 copies. In fact, Christmas last year, people were using it as Amper, adding it to their Amper package, to give out to people. Because again, if you really love someone, you want them to be alive. If you want them to be alive and you have an information you think they need, you should go out to get that information for them. So I would say one way is by sitting down to ensure that I put this material together after many years of research. Now, when we did the first edition, in a matter of months, I think it was just about a year or less than, the first edition sold out.
Wow.
Actually, so I had to do the second edition, and this is the second edition. And now I have a second book in the making, and as soon as we can, that will come out. We're working on it. God help us. Timing and all, preparation, so much to do. So that's one way, through my book. The other way is through the TV program I run. I run a program on Govt TV and DStv every week. It's called Make Your Food Your Medicine.
Please, can you take it again so that our listeners will take notes?
Yes, Make Your Food Your Medicine. It's a program that airs on DStv and Govt TV every week. And the aim of this program is to strike a balance between tastes and nutrition. So we have heard people say, if you say we should eat healthy, the meals are usually not tasty. So we are saying it is possible. So we are creating new recipes. We have done over 40 episodes so far.
Wow.
Meaning we have over 40 recipes. Interestingly, we introduced the Alkaline Kitchen as well. So this program airs on DStv, channel 262, GoTV 102, Startimes 116.
Wow.
Startimes 116. So these are the stations on Wednesdays 8:30 a.m. And then on Thursdays, that's a repeat of what happened on Wednesday.
Okay.
That's by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Now, this program has helped us. It cost money to put this together, actually, because we have to buy these ingredients, get them ready, cook the entire meal, and show people what's possible. But because, again, this program is not just so that we can run a TV program, it's because we want people to stay healthy. So we go beyond the actual cooking to even talking about smoothies, juices, and even the kind of water you should drink. And so we have 2 segments on the program. Make Your Food Your Medicine, the main segment where we are cooking. And the second segment is called the Juice Kitchen. The Juice Kitchen, we talk about different herbal teas, home remedies for cough, for body pains, for arthritis. We talk about different kinds of smoothie and juices that your body will thank you for. I also have them in my book. The first edition didn't have smoothies and juices and all. But as we continue to learn, with the second edition, we improved it and added all of that. The first edition also didn't have the consumption table, the nutrition table that I just shared with you now, talking about frequency of consumption, quality of what we eat and all. But the second edition had all of that, So we just made it more robust. And then the TV program continues to show what is possible. The good thing about the TV program is that we cook, at least 95% of our ingredients are natural.
Wow.
Yes. So
and there are things that we can get in our market.
Yes, that's what I want to say. First is that they are natural. Secondly, there are things within your environment. As a matter of fact, if you live in an area where you plant, you have your own farm, your own garden. Most of the things we're using, you actually already have in your garden. So that's what we do. So we promote that. So that's another way we encourage women. And then whenever we have the opportunity, the training affords us the opportunity to do so. And then, of course, we go a step further, which is what Ibom Soups have been doing over the years. We go a step further to cook the meals for those who live in our city and don't have the time to, prepare their meals thoroughly. Not that they don't have the time to prepare their meals, but they don't have the time to prepare it thoroughly. Yes, because we believe that you should prepare your meals thoroughly. Why is this so? Before you came to do this session today, you already have thought about what to wear, how to look, how to keep your hair, what kind of face you want to. People go as far as some people wear glasses, have like 5-6 frames that they wear depending on what's. Yeah, not talk of shoes, not talk of our nails. If you can be that detailed about your outward appearance, why won't you be even more detailed about what goes into your mouth? Because it is what is inside your body that keeps the outward body alive, actually.
Yes.
And then I like what one author said. He said, if you don't take care of your body, where will you live? Yes, so this is the reality. So that's why we cannot stop talking about this. If you notice, if you give me this topic, I can go on and on because I never get tired. It's something that I'm very passionate about.
And that's why we are so glad you came to At Home with Ifenu. Just like you just asked, if you don't take care of your body, where will you live? What home will you have? When you keep treating one child to another, or there are sometimes you hear that the entire family broke down. As in the vid of nursing one person like that, everybody is just, down and out. But we have heard that nutrition should not be overlooked. We should not pay more attention to just our outward appearance, but we should do more about our inner self. So how can we pass on this to the next generation? Because on our podcast platform, we are out to intentionally raise the next generation. That is one of the reasons why this platform is here. We don't want it to end with us. We want our children to imbibe these habits that you are teaching us. How do we pass it on to the next generation? Especially when you see that we have children already having high blood pressure. That's the reality. We have obese children. We have children that are addicted to fizzy drinks, fast food. We're not saying we won't give them such, but it should be very minimal. So how do we make sure that the next generation is taking the best of what we have gotten, so that there is continuity in what we are talking about now?
I like what you said, the best of what we have gotten, because we have gotten so many things, some good, some bad. Interestingly, as we grow older, we begin to look for what innovation has brought for us. Innovation is good. Nobody would belittle innovation. We can't be having this meeting from where I am, from where you are, if we didn't have innovation. So we cannot say that innovation in itself is bad. No, we cannot say that. But I'm saying that it's important to note that when innovation comes, sometimes it comes with consequences. Every good thing has the bad side. So yeah, you keep hearing things like, oh, now you don't have to do this for 30 minutes before it's ready. It can be done now in 5 minutes. Agreed. You've saved 25 minutes. But what have you also lost while saving 25 minutes? I think it's important to pay attention to that. So I tell people, I said, first of all, why I encourage people to buy natural ingredients is because, take tin tomatoes, for instance. If you take your tomatoes, go through the entire process of, of drying, dehydrating it and ensuring that it is dry, and then you can it and you keep it. It's not going to have a shelf life of 2 years. Now, let's take the canned fish, for instance. You take your regular fish, your mackerel fish, then you spice it, grill it, put it in a can, put oil into it, and can it. It won't have the shelf life of 2 years. So if they said that what they have has a shelf life of 2 years, then you need to check what they've added to give it a shelf life of 2 years. So that's where it starts from. So I think it starts from eating as natural, going as natural as possible. I think that's where it starts from. Then secondly, what you don't want to eat, don't have.
So we should not have, we should not fill our fridges with fizzy drinks.
Yes. What you don't want to eat, don't keep. If you come to my house, you come to visit me, I can bet you if you need any soda drink or anything, we have to go get it for you. We don't have it. It is so because we want it to be far from us, so that whenever we want to get it, we have to make an effort to get it. If you come to my house, you're not going to find noodles. So if you come and you want it, we have to make an effort to go get it for you. I live in an estate where going to buy something means you have to take a walk. So already that's discouraging you from eating that thing. So one of the ways to help the next generation is to help them have cravings for the right things. How can we do that? We do that by ensuring that what we have in our immediate environment, which they have access to, are the right things. So we'll begin to, I'm not saying make those things disappear. I'm saying replace them with something better. Find out what can I, so instead of, well, we can't completely rule these things out. If not, our children will go somewhere and be feeling left out,
Yes.
But we can minimize them. So instead of having soda drink and all everywhere, can you have smoothie in your freezer? Nicely made, that the children will prefer. So instead of having ice cream, can you have juices, that they would love to have, things like that. Now, instead of having all other kind of baked flour snacks, I don't want to mention any particular snack now. I'm trying to look for another word. Instead of having pastries, can you have carrots? Can you have apples? Can you have cucumber and peanuts? That way, you're already changing their diet unknowingly. And then over time, they become used to what you have shown them. Because another thing that we most of us don't know, many of us don't know, let me not say most, many of us don't know, is that it's also written in my book, there are facts about taste buds. We have many taste buds, not one. Every human being has many taste buds. We have taste buds in our mouth and in our stomach, actually, yes. And then taste buds die. We recycle taste buds, so they die and new ones grow.
Wow.
So if these buds will grow over time, that's why you see that somebody who didn't used to, someone who is a sweet tooth, all of a sudden stays away from something sweet, begins to take something bitter. After a while, gets so used to it, cannot remember that he was once a sweet tooth. That happened because the old taste buds are gone, new ones are here. So if we can continue for a while, the taste buds that would come will adjust to this new taste, and we're not going to have a struggle. That's why you hear the principle of of course, we've heard the 21-day principle of practicing something new. So I'm saying that start with your environment. Don't keep what you don't want to eat.
Okay.
Secondly, replace the things you don't want to eat with some healthier options. And then as you do, over time, as the new taste buds come, they will get used to these new ones, and you will continue that way. So if we do this, and then of course we continue to educate our words on the implication of what they are eating. My second son, for instance, loves fusion foods. He loves different kinds. He loves experimenting. In fact, there are some meals he has cooked that I've never heard of, and I will ask him, "What is this one you have cooked?" And then he will call it one name I've never heard. And which people? He say, "It's a recipe in Kenya," and I'm like, "Kenya, okay, all the way to Kenya, It's a recipe in India," and I'm like, "Why? What is wrong with our own recipe?" He's very he's someone who loves to explore a lot.
Wow.
And he's very adventurous. I love that about him. I don't want to kill that because I'm also
No,
learning
he's
from him.
going to take over. He's going to take over from you.
And I'm learning from him every day, you know.
Wow.
He has introduced some things. He will tell me, why not do this like this instead of this way? And I'll try it and it works. Yes, he's young, but you know, we can learn from everybody. So I'm saying that to say how I had to help him to cut down on the way he implements and tries out so many things, especially when they are not healthy, is to encourage him to study the nutritional value. So each time you want to drink soda, if you have to remind yourself, picture 12 cubes of sugar in your mind. I'm using that as an example. I'm not saying that's what it is, so I'm not there. So you picture that in your mind. It makes it easier for you to run away from it.
Yes.
So when you picture the implication of drinking, you know, cold water, you've been told that drinking cold water after eating with all the palm oil you've just eaten, especially when you've eaten fried meals, that the oil, you know, when you have been told these things and you picture it in your mind, it helps you stay away from it. Sometimes when you understand the process, that's why, for instance, running a business, Ibom Soups as a business, we have never in the history of this business sliced our vegetables in the market. Never. It's actually a taboo in our business. We have never for one sliced. We bring them in, wash them thoroughly before we slice. Why are we taking this process? Why are we doing this? Because we understand the import of what we eat. We know what it means when you're eating the wrong thing. So I'm saying that if you're educated, you have the right information, you share it with your family, they will support you on this journey.
So we need to know the why of why we are eating what we are eating, the implications of what we are eating, the power of imagination, and, you know, thinking through what we are putting into our bodies. Wow. This is the doctor of food, though. She's already a lecturer. I've said it. And I think she even she'll share with us now her social media handles. I know there is one that has something to do with, is it food doctor also? So could you share your social media handles so that our listeners can follow you, you know, and see more about what you do? Maybe where they can get your programs, apart from the one aired on TV, how we can get your book. Is your book online? Can we get it online? And if not, how do we get it? Then please share with us your social media handles so that our listeners can follow you even after this program.
Okay, thank you. So first, our books are hard copies for now. We do not have the soft copies yet. So that's why I told you that we have another one in the making, and then by the time that one is out, we're going to have the e-copy, and then this one also will be available for us to buy. But it's still in the making, and that's going to happen sometime this year. Okay, so you can find our materials on YouTube. Actually, we have a YouTube link. It's the Food Doctor. So if you go to YouTube, it's the Food. That's ITS. THEYTHEFOOD, then Doctor, DOCTOR. It's the Food Doctor on YouTube. You will see some of our videos with shots, and then you also see our Instagram handle. The same thing, you can follow us on Instagram. It's the Food Doctor, ITSTHEFOODDOCTOR. It's the Food Doctor on Instagram and on Facebook. Those are our handles, and then of course the books are available. We send the book to anywhere you are. Actually, you can pick up.
So maybe people can send you a DM on Instagram if they want to get your book. Maybe ways they can reach you. So it's the Food Doctor on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. So please follow our Doctor for Food, Itoro E.Bright. She has really been a tremendous blessing to us. But before she leaves, before we round off our show for today, can you give our listeners 2 to 3 practical ways for us to not just to hear, not just to be hearers of what you have said, but for us to put into practice what we have been hearing? How proper home nutrition can help us fight against sickness and disease. 2 to 3 practical ways that, starting from today, as many as listening to you will remember it's the Food Doctor. Remember all she has been saying about eating with our eyes, our nose. Remember that nutritional knowledge is very important before we put anything into our mouth. What are those 3 things you would like our listeners not to forget?
Okay, first, I think our listeners shouldn't forget that it is healthier to go natural when you're eating. So whatever it is you're eating, if you eat plant-based diets, you're doing yourself a whole lot of good. So try to ensure that most of your meals are made from plants. And then, of course, make sure that they are natural. And then the very easy step that every one of us can actually begin to take even from now is our water intake. What time of the day do you drink water? So start by having a water bottle to yourself. I notice it's not a culture here in Nigeria. It's a culture in many countries, but not really a culture in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you see that we just go anywhere we find water, we drink. If we don't find water, we go the whole day without drinking water. But if you go to many other countries, you see that everybody, they all have their water bottles with them. And I wonder, why is it not so with us? So my encouragement is, if you do not have a water bottle to yourself, you don't have to be a child in school to have a water bottle. Even as an adult, you should have one. Go get a very fine water bottle and then find out how many liters the water bottle is. If the water bottle is about 1.5 liters, then tell yourself, I want to drink 3 of this today. So set goals for yourself. Yes. So you know your water bottle.
So are you saying, sorry for cutting you short, are you saying averagely as an adult, we should take about 4.5 liters?
Between 3 to 5 liters a day.
Okay.
So to help you stay safe, you say, I want to take 3. If you are not able to take 3, at least you take 2 or you take 2.5. Yes. So that way you're drinking enough water. So this one is simple. So how do you drink water? We can actually start that one from this moment. So the next morning, when you wake up in the morning, as you go to use the restroom, the very first thing you do, even, some people think that, for very religious people, we want to say good morning to Jesus first. So as you say good morning to Jesus, before you try any other thing, drink your water. Because when you drink water that early morning, the saliva in your mouth is alkaline. So as you drink water with it, you're actually taking in alkaline water, which is helping your body stay healthy. So take a glass of water when you wake up. Take a glass of water before you take your bath. You want to take your bath, take a glass of water first to bring down your body temperature. And then before you go to bed, before you take your meal, 30 minutes before you take your meal, take a glass of water. Wait about an hour after your meal before you take another glass of water. And do not wait until you become dehydrated before you drink water. But you should not wait until you are thirsty before you drink water. By the time you're thirsty, your body is already raising an alarm saying, help me, I am finished. So you were dehydrated a long time. In fact, you needed water a long time ago before you became dehydrated. So just take water at intervals because you need to, not because you feel like.
Because I need to, wow.
Not because you feel like, yes. So that one is something we can easily begin to do. And then I said eat more natural meals. And then, of course, the next thing I'm going to talk about is try as much as possible to have the right kind of equipment at home. Just like I said, as you invest so much in taking care of your body, you buy good shoes, spend money and buy things that will make your body better, make you healthier. So maybe you want to begin to, some people don't have grillers, but they will fry and fry and fry. So begin to grill your meals as against frying. You want to buy air fryer. You want to buy a blender so that you are encouraged to do this. If you don't have a blender, you don't have a smoothie maker, how will you make smoothies? If you don't have a juicer, how will you make juices? So maybe you begin to put monies down to buy these things so that you can actually take the step of eating healthy. I think these are the few I can share for now. There are actually about 21 steps I have in my book. So
we really need to get that book. You said something that is going to make me ask this question before you go. So, we are very religious in this part of the world. And a lot of us, there's nothing wrong about confessing that we are healthy, that by the stripes of Jesus, I am healed, and we pray and everything. But I find out that apart from being religious, we still find out that we that have finished confessing and praying, and putting our health in God's hands, tend to not take our nutrition seriously. So it's like, don't worry, God is in control. God has taken charge. So I really don't know whether, and I know that you are a pastor, I really don't know whether is it that our religious beliefs or our faith in God makes us not take our nutrition seriously.
Well, faith without works is dead, actually.
Thank you.
The first thing I would say is that as a child of God, most times God will not answer your prayers, or many times God will not answer your prayers the way you want him to. He chooses how to answer. Sometimes God answers your prayers by showing you what to do.
That you should go and drink water.
Confessed. Yes. So for somebody listening, you may have been confessing, oh God, I want to remain healthy for a long time. Oh God, my grandmother was diabetes. Grandfather was diabetes. Diabetes will not find me in Jesus' name. You have been praying and then God made you to stumble on this podcast. He has answered your prayers because he has not told you what to do. So many times, God answers our prayers by showing us what to do. So when you are done praying, open your ears, your eyes, open your heart for instructions. And when those instructions come, be quick enough to yield to it and obey. So we must not be blind believers in God. There are some things God has finished doing for us that we are the only ones that can do for ourselves. It's just like a mother who gives birth to you. I remember when I was in labor and I was in the delivery room, wanted to have my first son. And no, not my first son. My mom wasn't present when I had my first son. It was my second son. My mom was present. And then she kept saying, try. If it was something I can help you with, I would have helped you. I really wish I can help you, but just try. So there are some things nobody can do for you in this life. You have to do for yourself.
No matter how they love you.
Yes. So it's important to understand the difference between these two.
So you are hearing that from a pastor,
Yes.
She's not just the food doctor. She's also a pastor, someone that also speaks God's word and admonishes us. And she's saying that God has already answered our prayer, many of us. But the problem is that we are not listening to what God is saying. And like she said, maybe this podcast is the lifesaver, telling you increase your water intake, telling you don't put what you don't need to eat around you. God has already answered. And we have been encouraged to go and practice what we have heard. Thank you so much, Doctor of Food, Ibom Soups. We are so grateful to have you, and we are looking forward to more of you on our show. We will definitely follow you on your social media handles, and I personally am going to make sure that I and my family, my children, keep tab with your TV programs weekly. Thank you. God bless you. And looking forward to more of you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here. And thank you to our listeners also for listening in. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for joining us this week on At Home with Ifeno. Check us out on Instagram at Ifeno17. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. See you next in 2 weeks' time.